Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Toddy Rap. Oh, Reincarnated as a podcaster. We're not Toddy Rap anymore, but we're just Reincarnated as a podcaster.
Yeah, we're still both.
It's just the shorter.
Yeah.
Welcome. I am your host again for the day. I am the Ed Boy here with the Bobby J, the Roberto, the Bob, and the Forrest.
Which one are you?
He's all three.
We'll let them decide.
Okay.
Also joining us today, back for
After
a
2
while,
years.
forever.
We thought he retired, but
Michael
he's
Remiak,
right here.
whoever I am.
He
Yes.
doxed himself, dude.
I know. I know.
What is his last name? So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I better not say my damn last
Oh, I
name.
thought his last name was Rumiak.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
obviously.
please type in Michael Remiak and you'll see what, I don't know what you'll find.
And today we're
I might do
here.
that when I'm drunk. I'm like,
Today we're here talking about this awesome new movie, the return of Miyazaki himself,
his magnus opus or whatever.
magnum opus, coming out of retirement because he did not like where the studio was going.
Because
Yep.
he's like,
To be
"Damn,
fair.
my son's
I need to come back.
We talk about The Boy and the Heron, or How Do You Live? I think it was the original Japanese title.
Dude, okay, if you were
That's a better name.
If you were Miyazaki's kid, how do you feel? You're like, God, I suck so bad. My dad had to come out of retirement to
Well,
save this company.
I mean, he's been wanting to come out of retirement even before the other film that came
So
out.
his son has been failing him for years.
Yeah.
Ever since he
like,
came out of the
dude,
womb, it's
I-
just like,
I gave you three movies
Then
or
again,
whatever.
I feel like I think everything is like not enough for Miyazaki, though. You know,
Yeah.
You ever listen to interviews with that man? He's just like the
there's-
world is doomed.
he just keeps going. He keeps going. He can't
Anime was a
stop.
mistake.
This is what I picture, just him with a cigarette, just yeah, fuck, dude, it's rough out there.
But
I have to
here,
create art.
here we are, the return of Miyazaki in all of its trippy glory.
And it'll be his last movie.
I thought he said he's going to do another one. Again.
Did he actually say he was
Another
actually
one.
doing another
Yeah,
one?
He's never going to retire.
He
Man,
admits it this time.
you're going to literally see his last cell because you're going to die making one of them is what's going to happen. And it's going to be like, and then they put that in for like a 10-second silence piece.
Yeah,
That's where he died.
the final Miyazaki movie.
It's a biopic.
It's a bio.
Yeah.
Biopic.
My
The
God.
last scenes are just him yelling at his son when he has a heart attack. Your
my
movie
God.
sucked.
I mean, if you see one of his recent interviews, he's like, the end of animation or my company is soon. So obviously,
I haven't
this
seen
guy
any of
is
these
dying
interviews.
soon.
I actually haven't.
He's like, I'm gonna die soon. I'm keep smoking. All this
God.
stress.
That's why he's probably still alive because he's smoking.
Honestly,
he's
it's
on
probably
that
the
like
reason why.
addiction. He's like, just
His
a little
body
bit
just
more. I'll
keeps
keep going.
Cancer keeps me alive.
Exactly.
Aside from the man behind
The myth, the legend.
the behind the art. This movie, Boy and the Heron, we want to go see it. It's a big thing. I think I just read an article that has one of the largest anime openings.
I also read this thing from
Oh,
Reddit.
like money wise.
Yes.
Really?
Did you also
in
did
the
you read it
US?
on Reddit
Wow.
too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says the boy and the heroine.
The heroine.
The boy and the heroine. That's why he's still alive. Makes anime history with 10.6 million opening. First original anime title to open wide or box office basically at first.
It's number one in the box office for the weekend.
Really?
$10 million.
Jeez.
That's the threshold.
For this weekend, yeah. What else came out?
Wow,
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, no, you're just so used to like, oh, this movie did $150 million opening. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
but that's like, not anime.
How much did it cost to make?
This?
How many underpaid anime?
No, it's probably not that much depending on the staff.
I was
Yeah.
about to say it's probably
What
like
is this,
$20. No, Mappa gets paid.
Right.
But
Gets paid in exposure.
Yeah.
so as the out of retirement piece, what did you guys like? What like?
Dude, the
did you guys like this
opening-
movie?
The opening scene is fire.
12 out of 10. Quite literally fire.
Dude, the scene I was like, I'm like, oh, it looks,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
normal Miyazaki movie. It looks nice.
Yeah.
And then he's running,
You're like, oh, yes.
running towards the fire,
We'll
and
over
I'm
to
like,
Japan,
holy
where
shit.
Miyazaki.
But the fire animation of him running through and all the background characters of just almost like being background characters.
It's great.
You're like, wow, this is so
I
cool.
forgot how good Ghibli movies look.
Yeah, same.
I
was
forget.
like,
After the last ones that have come out, agreed,
yeah, they're like, wow, this looks amazing. The
Yeah.
background's amazing. The imagery, amazing.
Everything, it looked amazing.
This fire,
The
amazing.
aesthetic of all of it too. It's like it's very signature Miyazaki and the
Yeah.
way everything's designed, from architecture to scenery to set pieces to even just like general character design. In all aspects, it's like very this is the return. This is the return of Miyazaki.
I love that scene where what was that painting with the screaming man?
The Scream.
Yeah, he's just
Oh.
like, so it's kind of it made me. It's like that feel, right?
Yeah.
Because all the background characters like kind of give me
Yeah.
that feel, and then the very detailed boy running through the streets. I'm like, oh, amazing.
The way it mimics the heat haze, like the distorting images and
Of the
lines.
air.
And, it
They distorted the backgrounds or everything in that perfectly.
it was beautiful. Absolutely amazing.
I felt the main character's trauma through the screen.
Yeah. This is a wild film. Obviously, the beginning of this movie does talk about something. Not the first time Ghibli has tackled the idea of the Tokyo fire bombings, right? We've seen Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
But it starts there. Funny enough, it's the second movie I said I saw in the last month that also has to deal with the Tokyo fire bombings. With Godzilla -1 being the other
Dude,
one.
every time I hear those, what are they called?
The sirens?
The sirens. It
sirens.
gives me. I'm just like, oh god. I feel
We're
like
getting
I
the
feel like I'm
PTSD
there,
flashbacks.
dude. Yeah. Seriously,
Yeah.
I was like,
But
oh,
it does talk about the horrors of what that is, and like the other movie, it talks about the impact that has on people, right?
Yeah.
That live through it.
Did Miyazaki? Nah, no way. Did he live through that? No way.
No, he's not.
No, he's not that.
He's ancient. He's
He's
10
not
billion
that
years
old.
old.
He ain't that old.
100 years old.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he grew up in the aftermath, the
Yeah.
immediate aftermath
Oh, yeah.
of what that is.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
why he's so impacted by it. I don't know.
And this is not the first time. Obviously, Miyazaki has always been on a run of making anti-war films. And that's the majority of it is, whether it would be Howls or Nausicaa or Grave of the Fireflies and stuff like that.
Spirited Away.
That's a major through line, right? And this movie, like all those others, follows that through line.
I also think this is the most horror of all his movies.
Really?
What do you think has
Like,
more horror in his movies?
I feel like
What do you mean by horror?
Like the bird was scary in the beginning when he was chasing
I
him
would say
around.
more Spirited Away is more horror.
that was
Are you
Oh, I
kidding
never thought that was horror at all.
I was terrified by Spirit Away.
Yeah, like as
Really?
a kid
Growing
growing
up,
up, I
yeah.
was terrified.
That show was like,
when the
Oh,
parents
wow.
turn into pigs and
Yeah.
everything. Like, just
Yeah.
imagine,
Oh, yeah.
like, especially when you're a kid and you go back and you see all this crazy.
In my head, I was
stuff.
more whimsical about Spirited Away. This is cool. And her life sucks, but this is pretty
now I
cool.
like it,
No,
but,
yeah, they
like,
turn into pigs, and then the no face. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and you're also like trapped in this weird land.
course.
You have to do all this manual labor for all these yokai spirits and everything.
Yeah, I was
You
scared
get
of that
yelled
movie
back by
growing
this
up.
like this Spider-Man.
See, in my
leg
head, I was
guy.
like, this is cool. I hate to be this character, but I love everything. Where this one is like, get the bird with the teeth. And I was like, oh, God, it's going to
I
bite
do-
me.
It was
I-
uncanny
Yeah.
compared to like Spirit Away, which I think Spirit.
Oh, I
Away
think it
was-
hits you. Well, I think with more adult tones, having the kid deal with
Yeah.
what happens at the beginning of the movie, and then the mythical Heron shows up, and then crazy things happen.
Yeah.
I do feel like talking about this movie does feel like Spirited Away and Grave of the Fireflies
Yes,
came together. And
that's what I was
made a
thinking
baby.
too. That's my exact thoughts.
Dude, that scene where he gave himself a scar, I'm like, whoa.
Dude, I was like,
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
as a person that like, you get through fights and stuff through life, it's like if I'm gonna injure myself, I want to go for like the front of the head. You never go for the temples.
Yeah.
No, this is like
What's
this
right
is death.
behind the temples, right?
It doesn't
Goes back
matter.
here,
It's
but-
all
like-
But
fucking.
he's like,
Yeah, it was
he
like
doesn't
great.
know. You can just
It's
like,
like
yeah,
rock, head, bunk.
bonk.
I hit myself here.
It's a lot of
Least
blood.
damage can be done here.
Ugh.
But I mean, I do like how it portrays everything, or the journey that this kid goes through to get over his traumas and accept the new things in his life. And I do think that's an awesome way to go through this, right?
Yeah.
Another parallel for me when I was watching that I thought, which I think is similar in the way that both creators treat whimsy, folklore, or fairy tale. It's very reminds me of Pan's Labyrinth a bit.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
that
that's
same
a good
issue.
one.
It's
That's
the
good.
same issue of like child going through whatever rough thing they're going through, and then taking a journey through a fantastical, whimsical world to be able to cope, with the problems in their lives.
Yeah, I like the Pan-Labyrinth example. That's a great example
Because the same thing, that would be the Spanish Civil War, which is similar.
That's like so similar. You're pretty dead on that
Similar time
example.
periods, and I think what we talked about with the way Miyazaki shows everything in the world, it does remind me of how also like Guillermo portrays the whimsical, where it's not always like kid friendly idea of fairy tale. It's very traditional, in the sense that the kid has to go through the whimsy, but also the horrors of the space. And that's how they become stronger. And that's how they get out of whatever this is.
Dude, if I were a child, I'd be traumatized by that scene where he first talks to the heron by the lake.
Yeah.
Like, we've been waiting for you. And then the fish is like, come
the fish
with us. And then he gets drowned by the frogs. Dude.
I legit thought that was like a dream sequence. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no way this is real. No way this is real.
It was real. As a
Sword
child,
got
dude.
bit.
I'm like, he really messed up his head really badly after
yeah.
hitting himself with the damn rock.
Dude, I'm like, this movie's ain't for children. It's
movie's
just an
definitely not for
animated
children.
movie.
I was actually confused. I'm like, this theater's packed. That's why I was like, are we in the right theater?
Yeah,
like,
well,
no
dude, yeah,
way.
this
I'm like, we're in the
film
right
is
theater,
packed.
right?
It's because it was dubbed. That's why.
That too.
We watched
I
the
think-
dub.
Yeah, we watched
Yeah.
the English
Yeah.
dub, which is good. It was a good dub.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think the only thing I had weird with this story, it didn't feel very straightforward like the rest
Yeah.
of us did. It was very just out there. If that makes sense.
It didn't feel like super cohesive.
It wasn't
Yeah.
really cohesive for me. That's what I think.
Yeah, I get that.
Because I had like when the movie started, you have the mother, she passes away, and they move. And you're like, okay,
later they
Tragic
move.
yeah,
fight.
yeah. And you're like, okay,
Gosh,
they moved.
that's who your move thing.
And then you have the new mother, which is
His
mother's sister, which is that's
Spoilers,
normal.
spoilers.
dear God, when I'm
Your
like,
aunt becomes your mother.
gosh, I was
A
just,
normal Saturday,
yeah.
normal Saturday in Alabama.
Miyazaki's taking some, modern anime inspirations.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was pretty.
Oh, I know.
common.
I'm so
Yeah, in
know.
that time period.
Your modern sensitivities is a little weird.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
back
I
then it's
know.
probably all right.
Especially when you think about, body counts
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It was just
of that time
it was
period.
just weird to be like, oh gosh, that's something, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't think that.
I loved his. You look just like mom.
Yeah. As soon as he
wonder
said
why.
that, I was just like, oh no. Is this what I think it is?
Could have been worse. Could have been like his sister, from the past.
Could have been a sister lover.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then you have all that, and then it just like peters into the weird story element. It
Yeah.
didn't feel like it was like straightforward. There's like no villain, no good, no bad. It was just like you're here now. You're in a weird place, and now stuff is going on. And you're like,
Yeah.
how did I get here? What happened?
Well, I think to me it was a little weird, not necessarily in a bad way, but more of like, I was fine with there's a mythical creature. They
Yeah.
talk about the grand uncle or whatever that was going through some weird shit, and then they throw that it came from space.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Well, like the uncle read too much. That was the reason why he went insane. Don't read, kids.
I
You
think-
read too much, you go insane.
But I think I don't feel like it's too weird, especially
Well-
if you. No. Aside from it being fantastical.
Yeah.
But even if you think of like Japanese folklore in general, there is stuff that comes from the sky
No, yeah.
that comes down.
Well, I didn't have it. I said I think the weird. Man, I just lost that shit.
For me, I think it was like not till like the 45-minute mark where things really started, in my opinion.
I think for me, the whimsical is what it is, right? For me, it's always like the hero goes through Wonderland, basically, right?
Yeah.
And there's no real rhyme or reason to what Wonderland is. If there was anything that kind of confused me, it was questions of why certain things,
Yes.
certain things
My
happen.
thing was, what is the end game? Like I didn't understand
Yeah.
what everything was going towards. It was just like, well, they're in another world. Why? I'm not really sure, but we're
Well,
here.
it's not even the why of the underworld. It's more the why of the inciting incident.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think is the big thing. It's the
Of like why he was chosen?
no.
No.
Why
did she walk
why
into
why the mom went in?
Yeah.
Oh,
like-
It never
explains it either.
Like why was she so compelled to go back?
Yeah.
Or go there?
That was the only thread, because everything else I can chalk up to
Well, yeah,
whimsy.
you just go,
Yes.
I can chalk up to hero's journey. I can chalk
Yeah.
up to all these other things.
Like you could do Alex Wonderland's a good example.
Yeah.
White Rabbit
that's what I think.
is the heron and the boy is Alice. And
Yeah.
Was it the guild that maybe she didn't think she was a good mother for the
I
step
thought
kid.
of that.
Yeah, but we never really went into those themes.
But it never,
really.
but also never explained
It
at the
was
end why
brushed
she
really
went
quick.
there. It didn't say like, oh, I went there because I wanted to make sure the baby was safe in this land. It was just like, I went there and I'm here.
I had to give birth to the child here, and
Yeah.
it's like, why?
And then
And it's just had to.
going, I guess we spoiled the farther future.
Wait,
Yeah.
so she was giving, because it was a delivery room,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was a delivery room.
Well, I didn't think she was like, dude,
She wasn't that- no, she wasn't.
Yeah, she wasn't. That's why.
Well, there's that weird time distortion,
Yeah,
which
because
I
it's
think.
really fucky
Yeah,
in
because
there.
I thought they were just like, she has morning sickness. I'm like, she's probably like the beginning.
Yeah,
of
she doesn't
pregnancy.
have
Oh,
a
yeah.
belly.
Yeah.
She looked like she was like 2 months, if that,
the
3.
dub actors say delivery room, so it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a mistranslation. Who knows?
Who knows? And that was kind of the weird thing about this movie was when we get into the mystical world, it's just the story gets a little lost.
Yeah, because
Like we had like the whole. I don't want to say them because I want other people to be surprised, but the antagonists, the feathery antagonists.
The Parakeet King.
Yeah.
You're right.
We're gonna spoil this whole movie.
Yeah, like the Parakeet King. Just
Hopefully
kinda
you
came
watched
out
it.
of
Please go
nowhere.
watch it.
I think
Watch
if-
it.
Okay,
if
yeah,
if you're
people
watching this, you probably already watched
Yeah,
it.
that's what I said.
Yeah.
Most people that watch this
Yeah.
have watched
Yeah.
it.
But like the Parakeet King and that kind of stuff just kind of got.
That made no
spoiled.
sense to me. They
yeah.
threw that in for.
Because I didn't. Well, that's the side of
Antagonist.
thing I didn't need to make sense.
Oh yeah, they're just
yeah.
antagonists.
It's
I
like
mean,
saying it's like for the same reason I don't need the Queen of Hearts to make sense, or the Dodo, or the Caterpillar.
But we understand why the Queen of Hearts and those guys are evil. This one's kind of like, why was the Parakeet King trying to go after the guy in the tower? You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of all
well, he
very-
wanted to rule it, from what I understood, but then he was like, "I need these pieces. I can't stack it. Shit!"
Yeah,
and then he
well,
blows
it's just
everything
kinda-
up.
He
I'm
was
like,
already
what?
the ruler, right? And then he's like, this fucking kid, like he broke our rules. We gotta punish him. And
Well,
then
yeah.
there
But
was
there was like all the
no.
taboo stuff too,
Yeah.
and all this. It's just kind of it got really
Well,
There was rules in the world that were not explained at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And-
interested in the graveyard scene where
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I
about
thought
that.
it was gonna come back later,
Yeah,
and
Yes.
it didn't.
It's so there has to be like some Japanese folklore
it
stuff that we're probably not.
it comes back a
getting.
little bit because if you notice it's in the background of the delivery room, that same opening in the
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, is behind her as well, and you see the power coming out of it that knocks them out.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
But still, it was such a small thing to put in the
Yeah.
background for such a big scene.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they do a lot of small things that make.
It's a
that are
movie.
big.
I feel like you have to watch what happens in the background to see
Yeah.
what
Maybe it requires
overlaps.
multiple viewings.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
I think it's part of it. And like I said, when I was watching it, I do understand it runs on like Wonderland logic,
Yeah.
right? Or
Where you just kind of go, oh, monster. that's
Or
cool.
another example that I like to use is if you read some of the more whimsical, like Neil Gaiman stuff, his worlds will have internal rules, and you understand that there's internal rules, but you don't always know those rules.
Yeah.
And that for me, I believe it imparts some of the whimsy to what these places are, that you understand there's an internal logic, even if you don't understand what that internal logic is.
Yeah, but I feel like it knows even when a rule is broken or has been
Yeah.
shown to you, it's explained. Where this rule is broken but not explained.
No,
Yeah.
most of those cases not even explained.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like-
that's kind of the thing I kind of like mixed about this film.
No.
It's just there's a lot of things they just kind of throw in
Yeah.
there, and it's cool. And if you go with it, it's cool, but it's just kind of like trying to understand the meaning of it. It's just a little
Yeah.
rough.
Well, and that's always the thing with anything folkloric, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of it doesn't make sense. It just has this internal logic, right?
Yeah.
You don't understand why you have to knock 3 times. You just have to knock 3 times, right? And none of that's ever explained in any story like that.
Yeah, but it's not that it's like done.
Yeah.
It's the punishment. There's a punishment
Yeah.
being involved for something that's not explained to me why she's being punished.
And then why is an impossible lesson?
Yeah.
Because the knock
to
3
learn
times
from
makes
that.
sense to me. I know if I don't knock 3 times, there's going to be a punishment.
Yeah.
And I know the reason why.
Yeah.
This doesn't tell me the reason why she's being punished.
I mean, and in this sense, it does. It's you broke the taboo, right? You're not
Yeah.
supposed to go in there. You went in there anyway.
Yeah. But
Right.
why?
Huh?
But why?
But why?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like I said, you don't have to know why you need to knock 3 times, right?
But I
you
feel
just
like-
need to know that you have to do it. So by the internal logic of the world here, the rule is don't go there, right? And it's your choice whether or not you go in or not, and that's part of the hero's journey that he breaks said rule. That rule has an internal consequence within that world, or at least that's how it's viewed by the people who live there.
Yeah. I also don't feel like there was enough, like, I don't know.
I guess he was warned by the rocks. They're like, the
Not
rocks
really.
don't want us to be here.
Yeah, but she warned them, but it wasn't like, if you do this is really bad. She's like, if you do this, it's not good, but it's okay.
They don't want us here, but it's not the win of the
Because
world.
I believe the context of just the world in general, and like, because I think it's the world itself that is the antagonist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's that rock. It's that rock that you see in that thing.
It's the world.
It's this idea of self-preservation, which like any living creature does, and that's what this thing has. And I feel like
Very shitty. Preservation.
Huh?
It's very shitty.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It has
Preservation.
its own weird rules. It's fucking cosmic. I don't know. But like its own internal logic is self-preservation. And somehow it decided it made some pact with some dude that things have to be with his blood. And it does everything, and all of what it does is about self-preservation, right? Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the reason the moms went in there is because she has a kid. Thing wants to make sure that kid survives to continue the bloodline.
And that was the thing I was beginning to think about. That was kind of my only reason.
And that's the thing. It's not a thing with motivations that are tangible or like
Understandable by our logic.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with folklore, it's a lot of these things are meant to explain things that are, I don't know, cosmic or natural or things that we struggle to understand. And I think that's what that thing is from space, that rock. It does things because it wants to continue existing under its own rules. But why it's doing the things it's doing doesn't really make sense, but it makes sense to it.
But still, that scene still doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
What you just explained to me. So if you're telling me that the mother's going in there,
Yes.
so it has a kid.
Yes.
The world's going to end before that. Even if the kid is old enough, it's too late.
Yeah,
The
if
way
the
you're
world,
told me.
world ends before that,
It
right?
was going to end either
It
way.
was going to end like the next day.
Yeah,
the guy.
that's we already have a deadline. It was too late.
But it was, you don't know if it's like a day in our time or it's a day in the.
Well, it
the
happened,
dude's time.
yeah, and they were kind of really flimsy with the whole time stuff too, because
Well, the parakeet fucked it up, so.
yeah,
Well, yeah, no, but I just mean within that time thing that they're talking
Yeah.
about. Because, like, obviously he cut that tower, which shouldn't have mattered for his other tower. So that tower fell, which fucked up the whole world.
Yeah, because that's the legit tower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So in that timeline, the killer is still pregnant, so it wouldn't matter if she went in there.
Yeah, it depends.
But then also in that scene doesn't make sense to me is because she's like, "Get out of here! I hate you. Why? I don't know. But get out of here." Mom. Okay, I leave now.
But I think, like,
You're like,
I
"What?"
think it's something that he mentioned or you mentioned before. I think because a lot of Ghibli movies in general, right, have unwritten context or
Yeah.
things are never explained.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, especially with the way she acted and stuff beforehand, it is a manifestation of guilt. A thing of, because I think it's she or the old lady say like to the kid that he looks like his mom. Right?
yeah. The old lady said that. To
Yeah,
him.
and there's this idea of
Those old ladies,
the
man.
new mother that will never replace the old one.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit of that idea of like how like in those places of whimsy, those places of fancy, you're able to, or it forces you to unleash things that are pent up.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what that is.
But there's a time thing that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well,
Because legit, it's been 2 days. Why is she saying, "I've been a bad mom to you"? I should have protected you more.
He's been with her for probably longer because
It's-
they went to school. He was recovering.
Well, he went to
very-
school. He got beat with the rock.
Yeah, but he probably was
But
there.
it's
for
never-
And then he was still unconscious when he was
I would
going
say
into the
he's been there
forest.
for like maybe 5 or 6 days. I would
or
think that,
longer. I mean, I think that's more of a question of edit more than it is the movie telling you actual time periods.
yeah.
Because it didn't.
Because the only time period thing I would say confused me is the whole, how long was he in that tower for?
Yeah.
That's the only thing where I'm kind of like,
The only actual time was like, my mom died, and then we moved to the countryside like 2 years after
Yeah.
the war or whatever.
And then he went to school with the car. He got in a fight that day.
hits himself with a rock.
Hits himself with a rock.
So he doesn't have to go to school
Sleeps
anymore.
for maybe 2 days.
By the way, that dad just saying that vengeance line, everyone.
Oh.
Give vengeance.
I was like, it's Batman.
You will have vengeance.
He's like, I don't care what you fought. I want to know who.
You will have your vengeance, son. Oh my gosh.
I said he should have been Robert Pattinson because I'm like, he's Batman. He could have been like vengeance.
Yeah.
But then
But he's also Batman.
yeah. So,
The voice actors for this movie movie were pretty good.
Oh, they're really
That's
good.
most Ghibli movies though. That's why it's like good to watch them dubbed. Even Miyazaki himself said that for overseas, that's how he intended them to be viewed, so you can pay attention to what's happening on the screen.
You want to pay attention to the art, not the words.
Yeah.
Also, he's like, I want to get top tier actors.
Yeah,
in
that's
my
what he
movies.
does.
Mark Hamill and all those guys.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I don't blame him.
But like kind of going back to the whole, I think Spirit Away, kind of going to that example, explains the whole how everything works and everything like that with its whole system and laws and everything compared to this movie.
Yes.
Where, and that's where that's where I keep on going back to is like there's previous movies that he's done that explains the folklore and how everything works better than this movie.
I feel like this is like you said, like Alice in Wonderland, but just explained less. Because even Wonderland has little tidbits of explanations.
Yeah, like
Through
why
the craziness.
like
this is just was like, oh, he's going to save his mom because
or like the pelican
Dad
stuff,
wants
like the
him.
pelicans. Like the pelicans were sent down here or are trapped here to why they're just trapped here. They just
they
trapped
were
here.
brothered by their master, which is the
the guy in the
grand.
tower, which we don't know why.
Yeah.
So
I
it's just kind of
think
stuff like that.
Maybe it's
where
an accident. Like he opened the door and then the
No.
two or three pelicans
'Cause
came in and they
I
reproduced.
I figured the parakeets and the pelicans had to do with what he was saying of you can put blocks in any way, and they were a block.
Okay, maybe that's
how I understood that,
Yeah.
too.
Okay, because like we had the whole souls going up to heaven, but the pelicans kept eating, or not going up to
They're going up to the upper world.
going to be born, and the pelicans kept eating them, which is like
God, that was bizarre. I was like, look at them, they're about to be born.
it was,
and then
it was cool.
I'm like,
But
what
they
the
kind of like
fuck?
set something up, but they never really went with it. If that makes sense.
Well, I think it was just a representation of the natural world in general.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
like you think of, for instance, my greatest example, and this is what I think about, is sea turtles.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
when
that's
sea
a good
turtles
way,
are born, they have to survive getting to the ocean while being picked up also by big birds.
It's a rite of passage.
See, I
Yeah.
thought my mind was the first going with the whole what's it called, the old like the Western folklore of like baby and the bird carrying.
I thought it was like a star.
stork?
Yeah.
Yeah, stork. Yeah,
Stork.
I first thought that's what's happening. Like, oh, they're carrying them away.
No.
To get
That's what I thought too. And then they're like, they're eating
They're
them.
being eaten. Like, what?
Imagine you're a creature. You either get eaten by a bird or burned alive.
I
They
did like
didn't burn
the
all of them.
I did burn some.
Yeah.
I did like the firebending mom.
Yeah, it was badass.
Yeah.
Does that mean she killed herself?
But again, that's another thing too. Is like the whole time thing of like
It wasn't a
there's
bomb,
a weird
dude.
circle of God. I hate time travel. I hate time travel so
Yeah.
much. It hurts my head.
maybe this movie was about set pieces and not how you get there. It's
Yeah,
kind of
I
just
know.
like these are the
Yeah.
main moments,
and that's why I kind of think of this movie a lot. Is it's
Yeah.
as soon as we got into the world, I was so like, okay, now I'm into this.
Yeah.
but it kind of took a little while to get to that world.
Yeah.
For me, and I think they could have spent more time engaged with that world and explaining more of it.
I like to have
Compared
been
to-
in the world more.
Compared
Yes, I
to,
agree
I
with
think
compared
that.
to like the
more.
40, because I even looked at my clock of like, oh, we finally got to the world like a 45-minute mark.
Yeah.
it
Because
felt
like,
like it dragged a little bit.
It dragged a little bit at the beginning. I think we could have. There's some things
I really
could've-
like the beginning more than I guess the middle of the movie, but that's just me personally.
You didn't, or
like
you
do,
did?
do you
No, I
like the
did.
part
Oh,
where
okay.
he was like fighting people in the rock and then him trying to learn about the stork and stuff? Is what you're talking about?
the Heron.
Heron, thank you.
Yeah. By the way, this movie should be called
That's
like
the
the Boy in the
beginning
Tower.
part.
In my
Yeah,
opinion.
the very beginning. Yeah.
Well,
the
I mean, the original name is "How Do You Live?"
Okay, yeah.
Like, you know that
Okay,
book
yeah.
he finds?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the original title of
Oh,
the movie.
okay, yeah. Because the Heron
What?
appears.
Yeah.
The Heron is
Yeah.
like
Not there for
No.
long.
the Heron is like the side character.
But that-
like
that
the
was-
He's the
movie
rabbit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like the
It's
rabbit.
the
So
rabbit.
I've been like calling Alice in Wonderland. The
He
woman
pops
and the
in,
Black Bunny.
gives you the main story, leaves,
Yeah.
pops back.
Yeah.
You see,
Or like the
hi.
Cheshire Cat, right?
Or Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, does the same
yeah,
thing.
The only thing I could think of now, I'm thinking about this. The only reason I could see like the mom, the stepmom, I guess, the aunt,
Yeah.
going towards the tower.
and mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the son nephew.
is because she interfered with the Heron getting the boy to the tower so many times that are like, okay, we're just going to pick you then. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, maybe.
And maybe she thought maybe instead of the boy, I'll go myself.
That might actually be what it is. It's the noble sacrifice.
Yeah, that's the thing now I'm now thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the mother sacrifice. Like
Because
her-
she has this sense of guilt.
Yeah.
But like she felt them like, I will give you my next child.
yeah, basically.
If you leave him
or,
alone.
or something of that sort. That's
Because
not-
that's what
because-
I have left for my sister.
Because that's like the first part of the movie is the Heron trying to get the boy to come into the tower.
Yeah.
So now just thinking about that out loud, it's like maybe that's the reason why she's doing that.
I just blanked out. When they're in the tower for the first time, he sees his mom as liquid.
Right.
And the
His-
guy drops the rose,
his fan mom.
shatters. His real mom.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And that was his great uncle in
Yes,
the
I
tower?
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I
The
just
same guy.
blanked
The Tower
out
Man.
on.
The
I
Tower
forgot
Man is
about
the
that
great
scene
uncle.
in general.
It's the same guy.
Okay. I just remember his hair was spiky and it looked more like ice and less like old gray spiky hair, man.
The dude had cataracts, bro. He was blind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that guy
yeah.
was really
Well, he's
old.
been in there since
God knows.
3 generations.
Yeah, he's at least
So a good
I
30
would say
years.
like
by himself. Doesn't
well,
need to eat.
older Japan, not older Japan, like
the God world. He's
the God
God.
world.
He's
He's
legit
God.
God. Well,
God.
he's Jesus.
Yeah, he's God of that world.
Not anymore. He's dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that world
Well,
is
all
gone.
gods die.
So if that rock collapsed, does that mean it doesn't affect time continuum?
No,
right?
and that's
Yeah.
well,
Because-
that's another weird thing too.
Because I think time is fucky within the confines of whatever
And
the
you can
artifact
leave.
is. Yeah.
You can
But-
never come back.
And the thing is, I think it's almost all contained within a singular time. So people can come in and out of it at different time periods,
Yeah.
but be within the same continuum within.
because you gotta
the
remember
artifact.
the mom, his birth mom. The birth mom
She got
went-
lost.
She got lost in there like
For a year.
For a
Like,
year.
well, she got
Yeah.
lost in there years ago.
Yeah, when she
but
was a
we,
kid. Yeah.
But we met her as a kid during his time in a way. So
Because
there-
Well, they did explain that she got lost for a year in their time,
yeah,
but she still looked the same. So she's probably maybe in her mind she was gone for like a few hours or whatever,
yeah.
For a day.
or a day, and then she came out
Well-
like, "Dude, you've been gone for a year."
and also the thing they mentioned is she came back really happy,
yeah.
Yeah.
right? Which
Well,
is
she
It's
also
'cause
she didn't remember anything.
She,
yeah.
Yeah,
but she was very happy.
yeah, she was
Yeah.
very happy.
And so the idea of like her going through the door at the end,
Yeah.
is that moment when
Oh yeah,
she
yeah.
comes back, right?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just kind of funny. Just
And
all
she
that
doesn't
time
remember
stuff.
because the whole world collapsed because that was
Yeah.
probably
Well,
memories
Well,
of
no,
there.
The
you
whole-
forget no matter
Yeah, you're
what.
supposed to
Oh,
forget.
yeah.
The only reason why he remembers is because he has the charms.
Yeah,
he
he-
has the
He brought a
stone.
totem and
right.
Old woman.
And the old woman when she comes out of the pocket.
Oh, that was cool.
I
That
was
was cool.
wondering, just like because we meet the younger version of herself, which was really cool. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe Pearl Worlds kind of stuff. They were kind of hinting at that
Yeah.
at the beginning when we got to that new world. And I was like, I really like her. She was really badass and cool.
Yeah.
I loved all of that, especially like the mythical stuff. Give me like the Princess Mononoke kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff
Yeah,
too. That was really cool.
Love the old lady. Dude, no, don't take me. I didn't want to go.
I don't want to be here. Girl, you kept on like holding on to his shirt. Like, what else are you supposed to do? She told you to leave. He told
You didn't have to go in there.
He told you like just leave. You said it yourself. You
You
can't
gotta
hear the
protect
voice.
him now,
only
you know?
only I can hear the voice because my bloodline.
Dude, how old do you think the kid was? Like 10?
Probably 10ish.
He was very handy.
I say 10ish. Yeah. He was
10
extremely
to 12, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere in
he
there.
was ex-
I think
handy
it's about.
as
I think it's
fuck.
about the standard.
I
Yeah.
have a cousin like this.
He's
We-
like, I'm
we
bored.
can build
I'm gonna
shit
make a
this
bow
at
and
that
arrow.
age.
I would make a bow and arrow and all this stuff. God,
Yeah.
he was really handy. Gosh.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
people are
this
like
fucking
that.
arrow.
Yeah, some people are. That was cool though.
He's
but-
like,
Also,
dude,
you have the other old guy teaching him stuff.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Sharp
that's
to
The
Yeah.
groundskeeper.
Yeah.
For Siggy's.
you want some cigarettes?
Hey man, tobacco was scarce in that time period.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
kinda, that was kind of the cool thing to see. That just the whole like, oh sugar, oh all this stuff. You know, these guys are like pretty wealthy.
Oh, yeah.
They're still. Like,
I have a
it's still
box.
war- It's still wartime.
Yeah, everything was funneled into the war. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it even mentions that all of this is still taking place during
Yeah,
the
no,
war.
it is-
Well, that's
No,
why
it
they're
is- it
making
is.
the cages
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the
the
airplanes.
pilots. Yeah.
Yeah. Those old
Like
ladies. at
kamikaze
that beginning.
pilots?
No. When we meet the old ladies.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is
They're all in
going
a
on?
suitcase. They're all like whacked out.
Very
fucking
spirited away.
gremlins,
Oh
bro.
god, yeah, very spirited old ladies. I'm like
Spirited
oh,
away
my
kind
God.
of style.
Especially with the girl,
Yeah,
the
that-
one that had like
The
the
mole.
glasses and 4 eyes.
Oh,
too.
Yeah.
dude, like
Like
legit have for it.
Yeah, that
Oh, her glasses tilted with the eyes.
Yeah, that visual. That was like, that was cool. I like that kind of stuff is really cool.
I love the art. The backgrounds,
Yeah, the
Oh,
arts in this
dude.
is
His
so
arts,
good.
his
It's
backgrounds
insane.
are always amazing.
I love the architecture, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've always loved the way he draws buildings,
Yeah.
especially when you get like I mean this is true of the time period of Japan. The mixture of that certain type of Western style with the old like Eastern there at the same time is dope. And then you get the tower itself, which is signature Ghibli style.
Yep.
It made me think of like the OG animation style where you have the background painted right, and then you insert the character, and then you have whatever's in front of it.
Well, that's probably what they did.
And I was just like, oh my god,
He probably legit
amazing.
made this old school.
They
Yeah,
probably
That's
did
how it
old
looks like
school.
in most
Yeah.
of the set pieces. I'm like, I appreciate this.
Just
It's
painted
nice.
backgrounds.
This
Yeah.
is nice.
All I pictured is like his son on like Christmas Day gives him an iPad. He's like, "What is this garbage?" Throws it. He pulls out the paper again.
Well, and
This is how you do it. This is why you're so bad.
And I mean, this is something I've always believed. I mean, I understand the need for efficiency and stuff in the modern day because of
Definitely when
'cause
we
of-
pump anime out as fast as we do.
supply and demand because of demand, right? But I do feel like there is a little something about when you see like the hand drawn backgrounds
Yep.
and stuff like this that I think helps emphasize the craziness of what is going on, right? It helps just emphasize the uncanniness and the fantasy and
Yep.
everything that's there.
What I've realized, because most anime is done animation or digitally now.
Yeah.
What I've realized, this was hand drawn because you can always tell with those in between frames with long shots.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
when you're watching a screen that's like like a movie screen.
Yeah. Fucking
And,
IMAX.
and a guy draws it on a piece of paper, probably this big.
Yeah.
When you do the faraway details and it's two little dots and a little smiley face, and you're like, he hand drew that fucker. I can see it from here. That's like my size human, but man, that looks
That's
like.
what I was thinking. It's like towards the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
where she's running up for the hug.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah.
like, doop. And I'm like, that's hand drawn.
Another one that was really noticeable is that head tilts. Like,
Yeah.
the in betweens right here.
Yeah,
dude.
in betweens.
Yeah, because you could tell. I said, he's watching enough
Well,
anime.
That's what I said, and I think I think that's part of the charm, right, of that type of
Appreciate it.
animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you do watch it on like a TV screen or even on a phone,
Yeah.
you won't notice those because you're not supposed to notice
Yeah.
those. Because there were scenes also where the face had no details.
Oh, of
because
course.
it's so small.
Yeah,
that you didn't
it's
need
not
it.
meant to.
But on the screen, yay big, you're like, I can see the
Yeah.
non-detail
All of the budget in this movie went to like the first 10 minutes.
and all the voice actors.
Yeah.
Like the animation in the first part, amazing.
It
was still amazing after, but it was pretty.
I think it was
average.
still real good.
I was like, I think everything in the animation
Dude,
department of this is
when the
really
mother
good.
first comes
Yeah.
and she's in the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good scene. Yeah,
Really
yeah,
good
yeah,
scene.
That's a good scene.
And then she comes later on too. Is also really cool. What are you laughing at?
Oh, no, I have no idea why my mind's there. God damn it.
But yeah, when she comes out in the fire in the first or second scene, you're like, damn, that's really clean.
Yeah.
That was badass.
With the
Yeah.
younger mother.
The fire scenes were really cool.
Yeah.
Like, any like the element, like the waters. God, the
Dude,
water.
was
The
amazing.
fucking Heron transformations, man,
Yeah.
were fucking wild.
Yeah.
Oh my dude, when he first started
Wild.
transferring, the eyeballs are coming like, oh
Yeah, I was
god.
like, what's
His
going on
big
with that
ass
shit?
nose.
No, my favorite scene, I was to look over at Forrest when they're gutting the fish.
Oh,
No, I
yeah.
don't know.
the,
that.
so
the
good.
entrails and stuff are
Oh,
all
God.
But I've learned anime stuff
That's a
like
good-
that.
that's a
I'm
good
like, that's
scene.
fine.
I love the little balls. Those are my
Oh
favorite
yeah, those
thing.
things are cute.
I was like, of course they have to add, they have that. Those things are
There's
so
the
cute.
there's the mini
The
there's
spirits.
there's mirror spirits, there's
Yeah.
the forest sprites,
Yeah.
and now there's these little
oh, God,
marshmallows.
Those things were
Oh, dude, I wanted to like grab their faces and go, "Whoop, whoop."
I want a plushie.
Yeah.
Because like with like this other like those kind of spirits and Miyazaki films, they don't usually interact that way. Like
Yeah.
even Spirit Away, like they try to avoid.
Oh yeah, these guys are like,
These
yo.
guys are like on top of them, having fun. I was like, these things are so cute.
I'll never forget the whole transition from like, they eat, they mature, and then they go up to be born or whatever,
You just-
and then they get eaten.
It was so cute. Like, they just inhale themselves like Kirby, just like float up.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, this is so cute. Look at them
and
going
then the
up.
birds come and
The scene right after was brutal as fuck with the dying, not pelican. Is it pelican?
Yeah.
Pelican.
Oh, dude, that shit was
Dude, I was like, this is PG.
Willem
What
Dafoe?
the fuck?
He's
Yeah.
It's like, okay, time to bury this.
Take
dead
me
pelican.
out of this misery, boy. My
And
fuck.
he's spitting up blood, dude. I was like, what
Those
the
parrots
fuck?
were freaky.
Oh yeah,
God.
oh they're great.
Those were amazing, but man, they're freaky.
Did
I
you
love
see the fucking like remains of people or other beings in the
Yeah,
background.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, those parrots were freaky. It was amazing.
Well, they said they eat everything.
yeah.
But they're opportunistic animals. Yeah.
You know, it also reminds me of. I understand that this game took this very particular thing from Ghibli movies. Have you guys ever played Little Nightmares, the first one?
Oh yes, yes,
The
yes. yeah.
end?
Yeah.
With all the giant people that are just eating.
Yes.
And you have to go through that area and they try to eat you. Same vibe, same energy.
No, I totally got that same vibe.
Especially when they're going down the rock and you see all like the different scenes of the
God.
parakeets like doing just
Yeah.
what they
All
do.
dumb shit, yeah.
I find it ironic that these bird people had fucking like anti-bird shit.
Yeah, no, like,
On their
that's what's so
structures.
like when they start talking near the end of the film. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, they talk?
Yeah.
They can actually speak, basically. Like, I guess one of them spoke.
Well, no,
Well,
the pink one
the
spoke.
pink one
the
speaks.
people one
Yeah.
spoke, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's like only that. Like,
The other
like,
ones speak after.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
The th-
It was just funny seeing them all like cheer and speak. during
Long
that
live the
ending part.
king, yeah.
Or when they have all these like
Yeah.
hero like
Swords.
like a sign like hero or something like that.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
queen. It was so funny.
The
Just
thing that didn't make any sense was that it's towards the end with the birds, and you know he's chasing him. He's like, "Tell him I'll be back. I'm going all the way in." And he's like sneaking behind them.
Yeah.
Big ass bird, and the fucking like you know
no
how
one's
it's like
hearing this.
yeah that big ass open area before you get to the door. And I'm like,
Nobody
how
saw
you
him.
not see it? And then the fucking crazy dude, he's looking behind him. It doesn't see him. I'm like, there's nothing to hide behind.
Well, there's that
he's
weird.
like riding sideways, right? And I'm
Well-
like, dude, you don't even fit.
Well, he's even like
No,
the
no.
footsteps and everything like that. Like
I mean,
when he's following the heron. It's
Maybe
just
he's a
like,
silent bird.
Dude,
No,
when
but when
they're
he goes through
jumping
the-
on the rocks, you're
yeah, like
no
come
way.
on.
No,
No
but it's
way,
when
bro.
they go through the time thing that doesn't make sense. Because he's the arches?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other arch had the door.
No, I understand some of that, but it really got me when he was going across the
No,
rocks.
because if you notice, like the when they first enter that room, they kind of materialize.
They
Yes.
they
no,
did it
no, I
fully
got
render.
that. He went through the material thing. Then he was like, I'm going to follow them. And they kept chasing. And then the door popped up.
yeah.
And then he was going to go through the door. And then he's looking back like, there's nothing behind me. I'm like, there's nothing to hide behind.
But you see the bird kind of just like materialize as if it was still hiding in that like weird gray space where you're not fully in the
But
room.
that's-
it was way too
before-
late, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying after.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
So you know the hallway where his mom and him meet.
Oh,
that-
yeah,
is
yeah,
that-
Oh, that too.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
like a lot. There's a lot of spots.
There's a
where
lot
that-
of spots you're just like, you're looking behind you and he's just right there.
No,
Yeah.
he's a master of stealth, man.
It's very
Yeah, I
very
guess, yeah,
silly.
just like,
remember, this is Drax, right?
Yeah,
No,
that's,
and that's like-
If you're completely silent, they can't see you. If you hold still, they can't
Exactly.
see you.
Gosh, that's the only thing that really.
I remember when it started.
I
I'm
just
like,
thought it was funny.
Yeah, I was like, come on.
when it started, I'm like, that's Batista.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was
yeah.
so Batista.
I was like, God.
I didn't expect his voice. When he
Yeah, I didn't
said-
expect that.
I knew
either.
he was in the cast. I forgot
I didn't know
until
where
it
he
came
was,
up, and
though.
I'm like, oh hey, there he is.
I know that voice. But I feel like everybody else blended.
Yeah, I didn't know
Like, I
Mark
didn't-
Hamill was in it either. I was like, oh, Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew that one. When he started talking, I'm like,
Which character was he again?
he's the old man.
The old man.
He
yeah.
is the old man.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he started speaking, I'm
Which
like,
old
this
man?
is Mark Hamill. Dude.
The main old man.
Oh, the
The
main
main
old
old
man. Oh, I didn't recognize.
I
his
didn't
voice.
recognize that either. Too. Now
Yeah.
said it.
Dude, I didn't recognize Robert Pattinson's voice.
His voice was
He's
pretty good.
he's very good at masking it.
Yeah.
There's I can't remember what movie it is that he does that he speaks in like a I don't know like this very niche Brooklyn accent, and you would think he was native. Like it's like that's how deep he went into
Dude,
it.
I low key that one was Willem Dafoe.
That's what I thought too at first. I
And
was
then I'm like, that was not Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
The only thing that made Robin Pattinson stand out was all the eyeliner. I was like, oh, that's him. That's
I don't-
Batman.
you're
I
right,
can
you're
see,
right.
yeah. He doesn't have the mask on.
Vengeance.
That was Christian Bale.
I know, but it's still funny.
Christian Bale was very Christian Bale.
Yeah.
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 Gonna find them if we're gonna get vengeance.
And it was also Christian Bale's like kind of his version of an American accent almost.
Yeah.
Very Batman.
It was very interesting what he chose for the voice.
It's,
Yeah.
it's very
It was like,
Formula
huh.
It's good.
Ferrari.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just looking at the cast at the
Or
moment.
the American Hustle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is his whole repertoire of when he tries to be American.
Yeah. I think overall, I put it in my top 3 Ghibli movies.
The
Personally-
three
The three
watched-
you've seen.
I've seen 5, okay? So out of those
Which ones
5
have
I've
you
seen,
seen?
I've seen this one. I've seen Kiki.
Okay.
I've seen Spirited Away. I've seen Nausicaa. I've seen that other shitty one that was in 3D.
Okay,
we don't talk about that one. So you've seen 4.
So what's your fourth then? What will your fourth place be?
Oh fuck.
You said top 3, so put you on the spot.
Kiki.
Okay.
I knew he was gonna say. Flipping the table, guys.
The sad one.
The sad one.
The
Grave of the Fireflies?
Yeah.
I always forget that's a Ghibli one.
and then I've seen another one where like the main character dude has round glasses.
Oh, the Wind Rises.
I've seen that one too. Yeah.
That one's
I didn't really like that one.
Yeah.
that one's just story.
That's history.
Yeah.
That's just Miyazaki being like, I really love airplanes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a movie about the creation and innovation of airplanes.
He's an airplane.
That's exactly what that movie is. Like I think the better version of his love of airplanes is Porco Rosso. Personally,
But that's more whimsical. The other one's just like, here's straight history.
Yeah, the other one's just like, I'm gonna tell you the history of airplanes.
That
I
one
think
is
they're cool.
I like fancy and airplanes. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
What'd you guys rate it then?
9.
9.
9.
Wow.
I really like this movie.
Where do I put the others?
I want to.
That's how I have to stack it.
This year's I can't go too low because it's a Ghibli movie.
It's
It's good.
Well, even aside from that, it is just a good movie.
Like
It's
the
a good
movie's animated
movie.
good. The voice acting for English
Yeah.
dub's really good.
I'm sure the Japanese is great.
I
as well.
I love the art. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's why I said
the
Ghibli's
arts really
always-
carries it for me.
I'm like
Yeah.
the music didn't really stand out to me.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of just-
moments in it that I'm like, this is very Joe Hisaishi,
Yeah.
but there was nothing that stuck in my head the same way like Kiki's or Howl's
Yes.
or Totoro does.
Or anything
Well,
like that,
this movie
Yeah.
had a lot more
Or Spirited Away.
silence
Yeah,
than
Spirited Away.
Yeah.
most Ghibli movies have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of doom, doom, doom.
They couldn't afford a soundtrack.
Oh yeah, we were listening to Beyonce. The Beyonce movie was playing next to us.
Oh, that's right.
Anytime a silent scene would come on, you'd be like,
so we heard like the Beyonce like boom, boom, boom in the theater.
My favorite is hearing a little kid next to like, do you hear that thump?
Like this totally silent part of like him just walking across the field like booms, booms, booms.
yeah. Well, that's the issue because all the silent scenes are like either meant to be quiet where they're just walking or it's
Yeah.
a traumatic scene with
Yeah.
the quiet sound.
Like-
You just hear like rave music in the background. It's like,
Dude,
God.
I was when I first happened, I was like, looking around like, is it just me? Is it in this movie?
That's next door.
I'm like, man, John Wick must be next door and they're
Yeah,
doing
I
that
was,
fight
like,
scene.
I was like, there has to be a fight scene. Like, just kept going. I'm like, maybe it's a Taylor Swift experience, but that's still like
She doesn't really have like,
That's what I was saying, yeah.
music, you
But
know.
then I saw, I'm like, oh, Resonance. What's that? Oh, it's Beyonce. Okay,
Yeah.
well that makes a little more sense.
But I mean,
Back to the rating, I guess.
I like the music now since we got on the
Which
music.
part? The doom, doom,
Yeah.
the rest of it.
The silence
Because
part.
there are certain themes that play that are very clear and apparent, certain motifs and stuff that
Ghibli
come
movie,
through. Yeah,
yeah.
that they have to.
It's always a
Ghibli.
Ghibli movie.
And like I said, it's
Ghibli.
I mean, it's very that composer. It's very Joe Hisaishi, and the way he uses piano because that's his primary instrument. But like I said, I don't think there was anything that stood out in the same way some of the other movies do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I would give this. I don't know, man.
We got a 9 so far.
I think that's way high.
I really liked it.
I was gonna give it like an 8.5
I was going to get a solid 8.
I was gonna give it an
because
8.
I still feel like Spirited Away is kind of in that 9.5
Yeah.
9
I think,
area.
yeah.
I think for me, House is my personal favorite, and
I
that
th-
one's like in the 9 range for me.
I seen Princess Mononoke. That's on the top 3.
Yeah,
That's also pretty
Prince,
good.
Prince is
Yeah,
like one of my
yeah,
top.
yeah,
and
yeah.
That's
Princess
my,
Mononoke
and that's
is
my
really
whole
good.
thing. It's like
I-
this has really good imagery and everything like that, but the story is just kind of and the
It's-
message is kind of messy.
I like it a lot, but I don't think it hits the location those other ones are for me
Yeah.
Exactly.
in the same way.
Because I think Spirited Away is legit a 10 out of 10
Yeah.
for like, it's not my favorite, but I think
It's an amazing movie.
It's-
Yeah.
it's the whole package is a
Yeah.
masterpiece.
Oh, of course.
From the art, the music,
Yeah.
the characters,
Yeah.
the setting,
Yes.
and even like the character growing.
Oh, of course.
Like in my top 2 of like what I consider masterpiece would be that and Princess Mononoke.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
everything around those movies hit. They all make sense. There's all the story elements hit. Voice acting's always god tier.
yeah.
You could never go wrong
Yeah.
in a Ghibli movie. And it's like this movie just had some elements that just felt loose.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's like I feel like there really isn't a bad Ghibli movie. Well, like of
That's a lie, dude.
of Miyazaki's run.
Oh, okay.
We don't talk about.
But this occupies. It's probably above like Ponyo to me because Ponyo is just okay.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
Whisper
like
of My Heart.
Ponyo.
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
The parts of the that I've seen.
But I do feel like this is. I think it's a step above things for me like Ponyo. I mean, I like Porco Rosso. It's not my favorite. I understand it's some people's, but it's kind of back there. Or the Amazing Mr.
Amazing
Cat,
Mr. Cat.
is like back there.
Yeah.
Even I would even put like Totoro kind of back there. Like
Yeah.
I feel like Totoro's iconic, but it's still kind of back
Totoro's
there.
more for kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you right, like
Well-
I got a Totoro plushie at the Ghibli Museum for my niece.
Yeah.
And my sister
Yeah.
finally put that show in front of her, and she cannot
So
stop talking about
for
it
me,
now.
this movie is borderline with what I consider to be like the fucking top tier ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like on the lower end.
Yeah.
Of that. I would,
And that's kind of where I
agree
would
with
sit
that.
it.
But I feel like all the ones that we named are very kid centric. Like if I was fucking 5, I'd be shitting my pants over Ponyo probably.
Yeah. Totoro and stuff like that. Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to like Mononoke
Yeah.
and all that
If I
stuff.
watched
Yeah,
Mononoke when I was 5, I'd be shitting
yeah.
my
Or
pants
it's
because I was
a lot more-
scared.
Yeah. Or I would not put that stuff in front of my 5.
I feel like this is like edging into that territory, and it's like I almost put it there, but it's just not quite there.
I think it's too crazy to be a kids movie,
Yeah.
but too soft to be an adult's movie.
Exactly.
yeah.
That makes
It's
sense.
something you take your 8-year-old to.
I don't know, that
don't
blood
know.
scene,
I'm joking.
pretty brutal.
Well, then again, I mean, at the same time, this is always my belief. I feel like
Maybe, yeah.
kids are I don't know, right? Like
They
fairy.
don't think about this
No.
that deep, bro. It's not that deep.
Well, my favorite thing too. I think one of my absolute favorite things ever said was by Neil Gaiman as well, because he wrote Coraline. And if you ever seen Coraline, it's pretty fucked up,
That's
right?
by Neil
True.
Gaiman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
What?
It's a kid movie because he wrote the original novel of it. And I remember when he originally published it.
Kid movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the publisher was like, "Yo, I don't think this is for kids," and he's like, "No, it should be fine." And they had the publisher's daughter read it, be like, "If she can read it, and if she's not scared, they won't publish it as a kid's film, right? Or a kid's book, right?" And so they gave it to the daughter, and they're like, "How'd you like it?" "Oh, I couldn't stop reading it. I loved it. This is great." And
How old is this fucking kid?
like 8.
Well, yeah, but you gotta think
there's
about-
some
Yeah.
kids that are just like whatever
Well,
about this dark stuff, and there's some kids.
Because the thing that comes later, that's what they tell the publisher, because the publisher's the mom, right?
Okay,
the mom's
yeah.
like, "Yeah, sure, send her," right? And he talks to the girl like, "So did you like?" He's like, "Were you scared?" She's like, "Yeah, but I couldn't stop." It was so
and that's what I'm
good.
saying. It's just like some kids
No.
just
Well,
love
yeah,
that kind of
because
stuff.
it's like you grow up watching slashers at
Yeah.
like fucking
No.
9, and you're like, this is scary. I'm still watching.
No, but like I think one of the main points that
watch
he
the
said,
second one.
it's just like the idea that we gatekeep what a child sees and
Yeah.
looks through sometimes. I understand certain mature themes you obviously don't do because that's obvious, but like one should never shy away from even exposing a little of the darkness of the world. And if you look at old fairy tales, that's what they are, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, any Hispanic person has traumatic stories of their grandma telling them about La Llorona or some
All
bullshit,
of
right?
early Disney or Pixar movies, they have dark themes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't pay attention to it.
And that's the thing, though, right? To a certain degree, I mean that it's helpful to a child's formative creation.
I think
whatever.
it's also the message behind
course,
that.
yes.
Usually.
Yeah.
They usually don't just kill off the moms; they just kill off like the
no,
mom,
it's
you know?
not. It's not shock horror.
Yeah, it's not shock horror. There's
Yeah.
always something behind that
Yeah,
message.
there's a
That's-
reason.
Yeah,
That's
there's always a
when
reason.
you come to terms
Compared
with
to, like,
the
Alien.
mortality. You're like, wow, my mom could die.
Yeah,
But
And you're 5 years old. And you're like,
the question is like there can always be darkness as long as light prevails, right?
yeah, exactly.
And that's the truth of all these things, right? Even the horrors of this movie are you can stand and you can watch because you understand that the hero comes out victorious at the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
at the end, he got a mother and the war
You got a
ended.
mother. You got a mother. You got a mother and saw his mom go die in the next future.
Yeah.
Dude, the ending was very abrupt, not in a bad way. It's kind of just like, oh, it just ended.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh yeah, when it cuts to black for a second and then went blue, and I'm like, oh, it's over.
Yeah,
I was
well,
like,
that was
oh,
bad.
okay.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, well, cool.
They're just going back to Tokyo after all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the war's over, so we went back to Tokyo. And then
Yeah.
it ends. I'm like, all right, okay, cool.
And he still has the scar today. You're like, oh,
He still shifts it.
just to show it off.
It's great.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Good movie. I would
Absolutely
suggest it.
amazing.
I'd watch it
You
again.
should watch it. Watch it again.
I kind of do want to watch it again to catch any of the stuff that might.
I feel like there's a lot I missed, at least in the background.
I want to try. The thing I want to see if I can see like the scar on the old lady's head. if there's one there, like
in the future, I don't think so because her hair is too long.
I know, but I want to see if I can find that.
Okay.
I want to see if it's there or not.
I thought that was so weird.
That was so interesting, but yeah, I want to look at that if I ever.
Doesn't the father know somebody had the same scar and like they grew their hair out? Was it that woman or was it someone else? It could be.
Probably. Yeah. I remember him saying something.
No, because he just says you can grow your hair out and it'll cover it because you'll have a bald spot.
It'll look cool.
Is the line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That father freaking like grabbed all the samurai stuff. Just tried
Ooh,
to
he was
ready.
He was ready, bro.
Fuck, what's his name? The one where his daughter gets taken.
Taken.
Yeah. No, what's the actor's name?
Liam Neeson.
He pulled the Liam Neeson. He's like,
remember,
"Oh, you steal my son."
He was trained by Liam Neeson.
That is true.
Dude, I love that scene. He has a fucking samurai sword in his fucking belt.
Yeah, he had like
a chocolate bar.
Stuff. He just got everything on his desk and just like, we're going.
This changes everything. It's a 10 out of 10 movie. It ties in. I love it.
He is Batman.
But that's really it. Unless you got anything else on this movie.
No, I think we're great. An absolutely amazing movie. Go watch it.
Watch it.
Hopefully we the second coming of a Ghibli Oscar is
I doubt it.
Doubts,
I'll
but
be lucky.
It's gonna go to Spider-Man.
I'm lucky if it gets nominated.
Oh, I forgot Across the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man's gonna take it.
Nothing beats that. I'm sorry to say, but that movie's really good.
That movie's good.
The movie's a 10 out of 10. But that's another time.
But we'll see. We'll see how things go out.
And see if it even gets nominated.
Yeah, we'll see.
If it doesn't, then that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's America.
Spirited Away won. But until next time, peace.